Welcome, everybody. Okay, so we're going to have a little bit different of a class today. If you have a chair available somewhere near you, go grab it, go sit in it, go be in that chair. I want to do this because so often, like the top question of this block of classes between Move Lab and Stress Reset has been something along the lines of, hey, James, what if I can't sit like you? What if I can't, what if that's not accessible? Then what? And I have this question come up a lot in the studio environment. And, you know, if I demo something somewhere specific, then people assume they have to be in that somewhere specific to do the thing. And it's just not true. It's a really funny thing about like the human nature where we kind of go, well, that's the thing that happens in the kitchen. And that's the thing that happens over there in the bedroom. And that's the thing that happens at work. And then the stress thing is the thing that happens. And if we can start just kind of breaking that down and going, I am a human being, you are a human being who is actively participating, affected by, involved with aliveness. And how do we each create and together co-create strategies to feel better, less stressed, more creative, more embodied, more present, more often than not, feels really, really valuable. So where do we spend a lot of time these days? In chairs. You're at work, you're at home watching TV, driving, dinner table, out and about, chairs. So we're gonna have a chair-centered class today. And then I wanna give us some strategy, some psychological fitness strategies to take with us. Why? Because we have spent this entire section learning TRE exercises, total body tension and trauma release exercises, how to release tension from up here, from our hips, from our feet. We've learned some breathing things. We've learned some meditation things. We've learned caretaking strategies that I trust you're practicing. And I can't say this enough. I'm a teacher who trusts that you are doing your homework. Why? Because it's simply not enough to show up here Mondays and Fridays. It's just not enough. It's not enough to show up here Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays for 30 minutes. It's not enough. It's not enough. What you're looking for in life is consistency in whole body, whole person well-being. And it's not enough to just come in, drop in for 30 minutes, and then jump back out of the practices. You, friend, are responsible for taking these strategies with you. So I'm trusting that you've been playing with them. And if not, the good news is everything from these 6 weeks will be on YouTube and you can go back and revisit them if you need a little stewarding, if you need a little support to move through it. You're not alone. We're here right here with you. So here we go. Grab your chair. I'm going to scooch back just a bit here. I think this will be enough for us. We're going to start off with just a little bit of breathing. I'm feeling inclined to do physiological sigh, so I'm going to take you along the journey with me. So it's a double inhale, inhale, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, inhale. Three more of those things. Two more. I already feel my nervous system like, ah. One more. Now, because you are sitting in a chair, sitting on something, sitting somewhere, you are being held. Here in this chair, it's very particular. It wraps around and kind of touches the back of my ribs, my very lowest ribs. So I'm just going to let my arms rest on this. I'm going to acknowledge that I have feet. If you're at your office, even better. If you're in your car, wonderful. If you're at home in your favorite chair or a chair, even better, because these are strategies. It's not about being in the chair. It's not about that chair. It's about the experience, because you're going to be in chairs a lot in life. Often during difficult conversations, during stressful times, driving, meetings, arguments, and so on and so forth. So here's what we're going to do. I want you to feel your feet on the floor. And if your feet are not on the floor, find a way for them to be on the floor. Maybe you need to bring the floor up to you. Maybe you need some books. Maybe you need some cushions. Maybe you need something underneath your feet so that your feet feel grounded. Not just your toes. That doesn't count. Feet. Then don't sit up in the chair. Sit back in the chair for today. Let your arms rest. And if there's no arms, let them be rested in your lap and just be there. And maybe for the first time today or the first time ever, acknowledge you are being supported by a chair. You're not sitting. You are not actively doing anything. You are not sitting in a chair. The chair is supporting and holding you up. You are passive. Can you allow the chair to do its job? Just breathe into that for a moment. Wherever you are being touched by the chair, can you breathe into that portion of your body? For me, it would be my arms, my butt cheeks, the back of my legs, the back of my ribs. Just a few more breaths, just taking a moment. Again, if we were in a posture class, we'd likely be having a very different conversation, but we're in a stress reset class. You don't need to do, you're already doing too much work. Just let the chair do the job. Go into maybe some soft belly breathing here. If you're like, I don't know what soft belly breathing is, go into physiological side or just regular human breathing. Just breathe like a human being. Then keep whatever is currently touching the chair, the floor, whatever you're feeling in your body right now, keep that the same. And let's go into our orientation practice. You are only allowed to look around the room, objectively notice and orient so much that nothing here moves. Think of how easy this would be to do at work. Every 30 minutes, every hour, 30 seconds of it. Then, same practice, but nothing from the chair down, from the seat of the chair down can move. Everything from the pelvis up can move. Maybe you even want to use the chair as a prop. So I can twist. I can even use my arms to help me twist. Just noticing what's in the room. Bike, ladder, light, door, camera, plants, window. Just taking my inventory of the space. Good. Then just like we do seated on the ground, we can do our full body twist, which is wonderful practice because it moves the lungs, it moves the psoas muscle, which is the spinal supporting fear, tension, trauma muscle. It moves my pelvis, it moves my body, it moves everything in a spiraling fashion, which helps decrease stress. So I'm going to slide forward on my chair. I'm going to twist around so much that everything kind of lifts out of the chair, and I take an inhale. Sitting back down. I look and I twist. I look and I twist. When I'm twisting, I'm taking a breath. It's my choice. Good. Then I want you to pick your feet up and slam them against the ground. You will hear it more than you'll see it here. You're just kind of waking up your own feet. Then let them rest. Then shift some weight to your right butt cheek and your left butt cheek. Notice how you intuitively go into seaweed spine. It's just right butt cheek, left butt cheek. I can make it smaller. I could just go here. This is sort of if you've seen people use physio balls to sit on or like specialized movement chairs, this is what they're doing. You don't need to go out and spend $900 on a new chair. You can just do this. Turns out this is just a plain old hard chair. Good. Now, everybody's going to be different. This chair is nice because it hits my mid to low back. I really like where this chair hits on me, more so than like a tall chair. So I'm going to turn it to the side. If this is not, well, I'll show you. So you can see how this kind of hits here. I can lean back into that and take a nice deep inhale. I'm going to show you again. If that bothers your neck, you can just go here, hoping to open up the chest. Now, what if you don't have this kind of a chair? Scooch to the front edge, put your hands down, and this is like a seated cow. Right back to that rocking in place action. I like this. Now, we're going to add with that our orientation practice. I'll demo it from here. Arch, look behind me, helping to kind of open up some of that throat stuff that we often get tense around. Sliding back. One more each side. From there, put your hands on your knees. I like having them like this. You could have them like this. It's really a personal preference. I'm going to just kind of slouch down, use my arms to bring me up. I'm just going to slouch down, hold. Can you let your head drape, drip, let go of, suspend, sling down even more? Then use your arms to bring you back up. I go down. I come back up. I go down. And come back up. Now, why is this in Stress Reset and not Move Lab? Well, it could be a Move Lab class. We could do a lot of this for Move Lab and make it about movement or cellular deformation, sliding, gliding of fascia. But Stress Reset is all about resetting that stress reflex. So much of why we get stressed or caught in a stress cycle is because we are not moving enough. We are not mentally moving enough. We're not allowing our emotional and the chemicals to move enough. What ends up happening is when we get stressed, we get tense and we get stuck. So literally changing your environment, changing your posture, changing how and where you're sitting, literally picking yourself up and out of your chair and going somewhere else, or if you don't have that opportunity, literally just letting your head drop, looking at something different, and then reorienting to your space will help you emotionally and cognitively move out of that stress fever. So yeah, you're gonna get a twofer here. Moving the back, but also moving the stress through the body. Add in the breath. I don't care if you inhale here or exhale. And neither of them matter if you inhale or exhale here. Make a choice. Two more. One more. Now, why do so many of our hips hold tension and hurt so much? It's because you're doing what you're doing right now. You're sitting in chairs so often. So crisscross one leg over. Let's go right back into that. I can go down and I can come up. I can go down and I can come up. One more on this side. I can go down. I can come back up. Other side. I can go down. And I can come back up. One more for me on this side, because this side is way tighter. Now let's decompress some of that low back sacrum stuff. If you have a chair, if you're sitting in a chair right now that has some wobble to it, meaning that it can like recline and come back up, lock it in place. If you have one that's going to slide out, lock it in place, or just be real. Might be a good moment to practice some static balance stuff. Keep your feet grounded. Put your hands here. Push down and hold. It's like you're supporting yourself with your arms, and let the sacrum and pelvis decompress, and then sit back down. I'm essentially not using or refusing to use my legs, and I'm using my arms. You could think of it as dips. If you don't have access to this, if you're like, can't do that, James, no go. Slide forward to where your bottom, your sits bones are at the edge of the chair, and rock forward and backwards. Rock forward and backwards. And rather than thinking of it as a cat-cow, because we've already kind of done that in the upper body, think of it as moving on the two sits bones. You're just rocking forward, rocking back. It's kind of waking up that part of your body. But if you have access to it, just hanging. Then go ahead and stand up. Take your chair. Hopefully it's something not ergonomic like this. I am not a fan of highly ergonomic chairs. Why? Because it makes you more and more comfortable to stay more and more static. And that's what ends up happening for so many, especially office workers, right? It's like, oh, I need the more expensive, more ergonomic chair. What that means is that I don't want, my body has deconditioned to this chair. Now it needs more support. So I decondition to that next chair and that next chair and that next chair. Every once in a while, try sitting in one of these, just like a dining room table, like a dentist office chair of some sort. So you have this or whatever version of chair you have. I'm going to show you a little bit of a tension release thing that it's got a lot of information behind it. I won't bore you with it, but this is something I created for clients who can't really get on the floor. And at work, you're not going to be able to get on the floor and do your thing. I call this chair dance, and I'm going to show you just a little bit of it. You can put one foot up on your chair, and you can kind of lean into that, right back. Leaning forward into that, right back. Leaning forward into that, and right back. Then put your hand on your knee. And it's like you're going to make circles with that. I'll change the orientation here so you get a different view. We're just releasing some tension in the hips. Other leg, other side. I go here first, hands go here, and lean into that, back out of it. Lean into that, back out of that. Lean into this, back out of this. Forward. Just a little movement through here. It's not a dumbing down of what we do on the mat. It's a making accessible this movement no matter where you are. Think about this. If you were at like the proverbial Disneyland or traveling somewhere and you're walking a lot, there's going to be a park bench somewhere. You can put your foot up on there. You can do this so that you create moments of stress and tension release, moments of embodiment, which is really what stress reset is all about. How do we move past that stress reflex so we can be more present in ourselves? Flipping it around. Again, stand behind the chair. Put your hands here. Now, if you don't have a chair that's this height, you can be on the other side, but I'm going to show you why this feels important like this. I can do a cat, in a cow, and I want to keep my belly away from that chair edge. Then, what if, and I'm not going to get there, it's not about reaching the destination, it's about the attempt. What if my hands tried to touch the floor on the other edge? And this is like a game, remember game Operation, where you would get buzzed if you touched something? Imagine it's that, where I can't let anything touch the chair. And back up. Now again, I can do it from the other side. I can even do this off of a chair. And imagine I'm up and over a gate, up and over a fence post. The chair just makes it easier. I don't have to imagine it. Then go ahead and sit back down. Some very simple strategies on how to begin to work with the body in new environments, because it's not about just getting on a mat. Yeah, you're going to have floor space most of the spaces you are, but what happens when you don't? And yet you have tension, yet you have stress that needs to be processed and moved through the body. Now you can use a park bench, you can use a chair, you can use a seat of some sort to help you. You can use the ground, moving through this, or even just sitting. Even just processing where you are through this. Now, from there, I want to take us into the realm of psychological fitness. Something that we have touched on again and again and again and again in a very nuanced, kind of floating on the surface way. We know a lot about physical fitness, like how do I make my biceps stronger? How do I make my hamstrings more flexible? Psychological fitness is how do I make my mind stronger? How do I make my emotions and my resilience inside of me more flexible? How do I open the aperture to life and be able to connect to it without the limiting beliefs, the limiting narratives, the expectations, the disintegration of me from my parts? So we're going to have a little bit of that. I want you to sit comfortably in your chair. Now you can have your eyes open. You can have your eyes closed. Makes no difference to me. Makes all the difference in the world to you. What allows you to tap inward a little bit more? Then just start to breathe. And I invite you to just notice. Notice what comes up for you. We've done this in the realm of body scans, of kind of noticing things, but just notice. Notice what feels good. Notice what doesn't feel good. Notice the thoughts that come up without the need to judge them, without the need to analyze or critique them. You're just noticing. Can you be present? Just noticing. By now, someone out there has started to think about what they want for lunch or what they have to do after work or how much they don't like this or that. That's fine. Just notice that your mind has wandered off into directed thinking instead of just noticing. Just smile and welcome yourself back in. Nice deep inhales. Nice deep exhales. You're just simply noticing. Then, without too much thought, I want you to complete this sentence in your own mind or out loud. You know what's working best for you. I am fill in the blank. I am, what are you? I am hungry. I am angry. I am anxious. I am tired. I am smart. I am beautiful. I am ugly. I am unlovable. I am loving. Like, what words automatically come up? I am, fill in the blank. Now, no need to change them. No need to judge them, just noticing. I am, fill in the blank. This is often done really, really well, kind of like stream of consciousness. So if this exercise feels really valuable or really good to you, this comes from the work of Dr. Mark Atkinson, Psychological Fitness. Take your phone, put it on voice record, and just start verbal diarrhea in. I am this and 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 this. It's better done just sort of stream of consciousness than like, what should I be? Because that's the next question. I should be what? I am, but I should be what? What is your expectation? You should be what? You should be better at something. You should be smarter. You should be nicer. You should be more stern. You should be richer. You should be fitter. What are your shoulds? I should what? And then just smile and welcome them, because that's a part of you too. And the last question is, I should have. I should have more money. I should have more friends. I should have stuck up for myself. I should have not eaten that. I should have eaten that. What are your should haves? I am, should be, and I should have. It's about integrating all the little parts of you. Why? Because so much, as we've repeated, so much of our stress comes from expectations, which is very different than goals, which is very different than intention setting. Expectations are, this is how life should be right now. This is the story I tell myself. This is the narrative I live in. It's probably not truth. It's just how I perceive my reality right now, which is probably different than what the reality actually is. And when the reality of your life does not match the expectation, we get stressed. So what we're doing is simply creating an awareness library of all of the stories we tell ourselves. I am, I should be, I should have. And you're just noticing that. Now, this is not an alarm call for you to trigger yourself, for you to traumatize yourself. Why do I give this today at the end? Because you have 6 weeks of tools on going, well, I can release that tension from my body. I can release that tension from my breath. I can release that tension from my psyche and my emotional self through the meditations I've been practicing. I am strong and resilient because I've been in Move Lab, because I've been in Stress Reset, and because I practice, because you practice these things outside of class. You're building up endurance. You're moving toward being able to reset your stress more often than not. And now we are moving toward a sensation, an awareness, an application of whole person well-being by tackling the lens we look at life through. I am, I should be, I should have. Then let's go into our spaciousness practice. As you say, I am fill in the blank, whatever it is. Does that feel more spacious or less spacious in your body? Things that feel good, things that feel appropriate, things that your body resonates with will feel spacious. If I said if I say I'm unlovable, that to me shrinks me. It contracts me. It makes me hold my breath. That's not spacious. I am worthy of love. I am smart. I am kind. I am compassionate. Those things open up. They feel open. How do I know that? Because I have a spaciousness practice. I spend time with knowing what spaciousness feels like in my body. If you're just joining us for the first time, we have spaciousness practice over and over and over again in videos. So we even have it in an email. You'll have access to these things. Just keep playing with it. Then the same with I should be and I should have. Do those things feel spacious in your own body or not? Because your body, your gut, your nervous system is not going to lie to you. And the more you can have that interpersonal communication, it opens you up to interpersonal communication and interconnectedness with other people. But it's got to start in here and be played with out here. Be resourced out here. You can't just practice. You can't just hope to show up to class and then like have it filter into your life. You also can't just do these practices alone in a room and then never apply them out in the real world. So when you are in arguments, does it feel spacious? When you're having tough conversations, can it feel more spacious? What word choices would you make? How would you sit in order to make it more spacious? Would you be here or would you be here? Now you know, so now you can do it. I wanted to leave that with you to kind of play with until we meet again in a few short weeks. We're going to take a little break. This is our last class of this 6-week block, but Alicia has dropped in some information on how you can join me for the month of October for another project. And we have our YouTube stuff. And I want to just thank you so much for being with us, especially today, joining us in something new. We haven't done this sort of class before, but you'll see it again. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, James. A big thank you to you. Like, we obviously wouldn't be here without you. And of course, a huge thank you to all of the participants. So many of you have been with us since the beginning in the parks. And then so many just over the last year and a half when we went virtual. So I just really want to thank you for your commitment and just for being here to support us and helping us to be able to keep this program going. So, and thank you, of course, to Raymond for helping me with all the technology.
You, Raymond, always
there.
Raymond doesn't get enough thanks, and I always try to include it, and I always forget. So thank you so much, Raymond. We literally, you get to see Alicia and I a lot, everybody, and Raymond is just that little tile up there, but literally he makes this whole operation go.
Yes. And so, yes, I did put some information in there about James' project that he'll be working on in the interim. It's not a WHA sponsored project. It's his thing that he's doing with some of the other fabulous instructors in the area. So if you're interested, please reach out to him. It's a great project that he's working on. Also, you do have access to the YouTube classes from last block. They're on there right now. And then hopefully by the end of next week, this block that we just finished, they will all be posted as well. So you just go to our Western Health Advantage YouTube page and they're all right there. I did put the link in there for you. I wrote down a couple notes too. We will be getting a survey out next week. So please fill out the survey when you get that. And if you aren't receiving our weekly emails, they're probably coming from Western Health Advantage. Can you please send me an email so that I can give you our marketing's email address that they're sending from so that you can whitelist that? I don't know it off the top of my head, but I want to make sure, because at the end of each week, whatever James has taught, it's kind of summaried in an email. So it just might be a good way for you to be able to go back and be reminded. So if you're not receiving those, please let me know. Alicia, what is, oh my gosh, what's my email address?
A.low at Western
No,
Health.
that's not, thank you, Raymond. No, CommunityFIT at westernhealth.com. Let me write it in here.
We obviously need a break, everybody.
Oh my God. I'm all Alicia at CommunityFIT.com. That's not it. I just put it in there and I misspelled it. So let me do it again.
There's Raymond. If you guys want to see Raymond, there he is.
Yeah.
Hey,
I figured I'd jump online for once and actually show my face. And I'm actually wearing a shirt.
Oh, he's got a Move Lab shirt on.
Yay! Yay. That's awesome. All right, everyone. Were there any questions? I know I was doing a lot of talking, so.
We just got a bunch of thank yous and looking forward and looking back and all of that. Hey, Alicia, can you just speak a little bit on, do people need to do anything to be notified about the next bracket of classes?
No, thank you for bringing that up. So again, as long as you're receiving our emails from Western Health Advantage, that's probably the subject line that's coming through, or the sender, I should say. As long as you're receiving those, you will get the information for the next class. So you don't have to go back and re-register. You should just be receiving our emails automatically. So that's why I wanted to make sure that you had my email. If you're not seeing weekly emails from us, please reach out to me so I can make sure that you will get the information on the next round of classes as well.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. We're going to miss, well, I can't say I'm going to miss Bobby Ross because I think I'm going to get to see him before the next block.
You're going to get to see Bobby Ross in real life.
Yes, I am. So, all right, you guys, thank you so much. Have a fabulous few weeks before we see you again. Okay. We'll start November 2nd. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a good one. Bye.